I'm so excited about today. And this is Dr. B. I have Nathaniel, or we just call him Nate Turner, on today. And I'm getting more excited about these every week, Nate, because it's just I'm having some conversations that I don't normally get to have with folks about things that are happening in our world, in our life, and some of the things that just come out have seemed to be just super fun. And I don't know, if you've seen any of them, or you're just going, what did I get myself into again today? And I just can't wait to have some of these with you. And so, our lives are our lives, and you start thinking about. We're now 2026. I don't know when you're watching it. Hopefully, some of you guys might be watching it live. But we're in 2026. We're in the first few weeks. We're almost into February, in which I can't believe that it seems like I go to bed and I wake up and it's like, what happened to my day? And it just seems like, even since I was a kid, it just seems like life goes faster. And I know when you're a little kid, life just goes super slow because you're looking forward to moments like when's Christmas break or when's summer break or when's spring break. But as you get older, it just seems like, man, the years just keep going by and going by, and our kids keep growing up and getting older and older and older. And my oldest was born in 1988, and so I guess he just turned 37. And I'm like, there is no way I have a 37-year-old child on this planet.
Yes,
I just remember coming back to the hospital. I know you have, a few kids. We talk about your son and stuff, but does it feel like life is just moving faster for you as well? I mean,
life obviously, I don't know if it moves any faster, but perhaps our appreciation, given where we are in this point in time in our life, life moves the same, like 24 hours a day, 1,440 seconds, right? 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. That's consistent. But what seems different, of course, is that we're different. So our appreciation of time is different. But it's not moving fast. There's just like, how do we find a way to slow it down so that we can still live life with this sort of childhood like naivety, but at the same time an appreciation of urgency that we're running out of time.
Yeah, and I guess it's all perception and your perspective on it, and maybe it's some of the things that you want to get accomplished.
Yeah,
I've been talking. We just did a conference on virtual conference on last Saturday, and it was all based around AI and goal setting, and how we can utilize these tools of this artificial intelligence to help us set our goals. And I start thinking about like my goals and some of the things that I want to accomplish this year. And maybe I feel like some of them get more bigger and more audacious. And then that, I think my perspective of time goes, how do I do it so quickly? And then all the things that I can do quickly. And sometimes we still think it's not as fast, right? I don't know if you remember in the 90s before we had the internet, which I know you do.
Yes, I do.
I do. We couldn't get stuff done so fast. Even I wasn't going to talk on a cell phone that cost $1 a minute. Sure. There was no internet to get to. It is in your life, if you like your perspective of all you can get done, do you try to fill up your time more because you have more access to tools? How does that work?
No, I think one of the dangers. So I certainly use AI as everyone does, but I'm also the kind of person. I'm not presenting a warning sound or anything like that. But I think we forget that every coin has two sides, and we act as if AI is the panacea for all things. It depends on what side of the coin you're on. I mean, AI is not the panacea for a lot of people. AI is the boogeyman. AI is the death spiral for a lot of people. Yes, you and I can get a lot accomplished today. Once upon a time, we would have had to do that in conjunction with other people, and other people would have to help us. Well, today you do it all by yourself. And I dare say that you doing it all by yourself does not make you a better human. It makes you a lesser human. But we don't have those discussions. We're just talking about your productivity. I'm not so much concerned about Dr. B's productivity. I'm talking about Dr. B's legacy. Who will you be when your time is up? When the only person you work with and concerned with is how expedient things can work for you.
Yeah. Oh my, I so hear you as I start thinking about the things that, like email, for instance, and before there was email, how did we communicate with each other, right? We had to get on a phone and talk.
We did.
And now it just seems like the number of emails that show up in my inbox on a daily basis. And then I can even track the last few years as people are using AI to write their emails. My emails are getting longer and more cumbersome, and more to read, because the person that I'm communicating with, who when I'm having a conversation with them will say like 10 words, and now all of a sudden he's got like 200 words that he's got to tell me, and it's the AI that's doing it. Are we just making more work for ourselves by adding these tools instead of being efficient?
I think we're hearing from more people we don't care to hear from. I think that there are some realities. Listen, you and I grew up at a time, if the people you really cared about, you picked up the phone and you called them. You and I growing up, the people you cared about, when you called them, you say, hey, what are you doing? Let's get together and do something. Today, we send people text. Today, we send people email. I mean, I can't tell you, like, I'm terrible with text, and I'm purposely terrible with text because I think texts are lazy. I think it's passive aggressive. I think if you're going to send me a text and ask me to do something, then you should pick up the phone and have a conversation with me. Because that's the way I was. That's the way I was raised. That's the kind of human contact that I think that's necessary for the planet. But if all someone is doing is sending me text or sending me email, I just ignore those. But those, to me, those people eliminate their space in my life very easily by doing those things.
Yeah. One of the things that seems to be, but my dad just, he just turned 87 in December, and he continues to leave voicemails because he wants to talk. He doesn't want me to text or email, which I have no problem with. But when he sends me these voicemails, and he says, call me when time permits, or call me when you have a chance, or we need to talk. And I'm like, Dad, can you at least tell me if this is an urgent matter or something that I can wait for a little bit to call you? Can you at least tell me what this is about? And he doesn't want to. Like, he's fighting it. He's like, no, I just want you to call me just so you can find out. And I'm thinking, yes, I should slow down that much for my dad, that I will just call him because I should be calling him. But at the same time, I'm going, okay, is this something that, because sometimes he has that urgency in his voice where it's like, do I need to stop what I'm doing and call him? Or do I, can I wait? I wish he would just tell me that. Is that like a sign in your, is that kind of, talking about this? Be my psychologist for a second, I guess. What?
I love your dad. I love your dad. So let me say this, Brian. I don't have a father. My father's gone.
Okay.
And so I think what your father may be intimating to you is that you need to pay attention to him while he's here, because he's not going to be here forever. You think what you're doing, like I'm gonna be real, because that's how I am. You think whatever you're doing is so important. It is not. It is not more important than your father. It's not. And if you like your father, think about all the times, and I don't know your relationship with your father, so I'm going to just take a guess, because you and your father do communicate, that when you were a certain age, your father stopped and took time for you. Maybe he didn't, and maybe this is his way of saying, damn, I messed up. I should have done better. But whatever it is, your father is reminding you, all this time you talking about is going really quickly, it's going faster for him. He's closer to the end than you are. And when you can't pick up the phone and just check in, at the end of the day, brother, that's going to affect you more than him, because when he's gone, you're going to have to sit in that, not your dad. So I'm going to say, I'm going to encourage you to stop whatever you're doing, because if I could switch with you, I wouldn't switch with you, because I wouldn't want you to have the pain of not having a relationship with a father and being able to pick up the phone and call him. But I'm just going to say, stop, pretend like you're so damn busy, because there are people who run countries, you do not. And they get a chance they stop and pick up the phone and talk to their parents. So,
so true. And, sometimes it's, when we think about technology and we think about, like him texting and him sending him pictures and, And it's my mom too sometimes, because it's like, because him and his wife just went and bought Apple Watches.
Okay.
And so now they're trying to figure out how to use the Apple Watch. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
every day there's a conversation about how do I send a picture? How do I text a picture? How do I
Yeah.
send a picture?
He's
How do I text a
trying.
picture?
He's trying. He's trying, man. Come on, bro. He's trying. And again, you and I are going to be your dad sooner than. In fact, I would suspect that there are things that right now our children look at us the same way you look at your dad. And
Well, yeah.
right. And the day is, as because you just told me the time is speeding, and as the time continues to speed along, and we get more and more like your father and mother and my mother. Man, we're gonna want grace and mercy, and we cannot get it. We cannot give what we don't give.
Gotcha. Well, it's funny that you say that, because about 3 weeks ago, I'm trying to put together a presentation that has a song on it and has the words and everything to go to it. And who do I call? My son, right? He works at Pixar. He knows how to use all this stuff, right? And then I caught myself going, wait a minute.
I'm my dad. I'm my dad. Yes.
And I even told my son, I said, all right, if you feel like you don't have enough time for me right now, I get it, because I know how you're feeling right now, because I'm calling you, and this is probably a stupid question, something that you're going to solve, and I'm telling you I can't find this thing on my machine, and you know exactly where it's at, how quickly you can get it, and we just had fun talking about it, and just laughing, and I'm saying, okay, you 38, so your kids are getting old, your girls are getting older, so you're going to be in the same situation. But I just love the fact, like you said, that we have family, and family is the number one reason that I'm on this planet. And I think it's why most of us we forget about those connections. We get so caught up in the day-to-day. I need to read 200 emails. Why? Why?
I don't know. You better than me, bro. I don't know. Like, again, I'm terrible about that. I delete. There are times that Nine will say to me, "Dad, you just deleted." I said, "I just deleted them all. I just deleted all the emails in my." Why? Because I'm not going to respond to all of these emails. And again, the people who I love and adore, and people who love and adore me, you know what they do? They pick up the phone, they call me. If there's something that I'm going to miss, I get it. I know this is where we are in 2026, and everybody sends emails, but to your point, like 200 emails, I'm like, absolutely not. I can't. I'm having a hard time. I got about I have, I think, 8 calendars. I say, this is absurd. This is absurd, right? I have email for the league. I have an email for my financial planning practice. I have an email for the stuff I do Nate individually. We got support sites. You have contact site. I'm like, this is ridiculous. If you have a Microsoft anything, you have to have a Microsoft email or some Hotmail or Outlook account. If you have an Apple product, you have to have an Apple. I'm like, this is nuts. I don't think we're productive. I think we are masquerading as productive.
Yeah.
Like, if you're answering 200 emails, you cannot possibly be getting closer to whatever your goal and objective.
Oh yeah. And I'm the same way. I delete. And I have an assistant, and her job is to highlight and flag the ones that she thinks I should read.
Right.
And even half of those are not things that I know to leave. And then I start thinking, well, why is she having to comb through this just massive information? And when I think about like the age that we're in, and maybe you can talk to me about a little bit about this, but it used to be where information and who knew the information or who had access to the information were the people who were running the world, or the people who we call kings and queens and whatever it is, because they could access the flow. And so when this internet thing came about, and now even with AI and everything else, it's no longer about how much information you know. The Jeopardy guy is not worshipped anymore by being able to recite everything, because we all have access to it on our phone if we need to know the answer.
Right.
But I think it's the ability to learn is kind of where we're moving into, because I think that's the deficit that we're finding is it's not about how much information, it's being able to take it and learn how to use it, and then be able to take that and apply it to something that's either going to impact somebody or help your life or in some way. Are you feeling kind of the same way that learning is more of a necessity now, or being able to learn, than it is?
Yeah, I feel like in some ways, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I feel like some ways we are moving to hopefully a newer period of enlightenment, which is to say, yes, information is ubiquitous, but how many of us can think critically about the information we receive? And the majority of us cannot do that. And so then here's your AI. So when people can't think critically about something, they give it to AI and ask AI to do the thinking for them. Right. So there's the danger. You're not exercising your own brain. You're asking a tool to do for you what you should be doing for yourself. Otherwise, what is humanity if humanity does not understand how to think critically?
Wow. Yeah, just the way you just put that was eloquent, because I hadn't thought through the process of, if we don't and continue to exercise our brain and we're using this tool to think, that means the tool has the ability to think for us and then begin to manipulate us.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're a former athlete, so and you coach people. You know that if a person does not train their own muscles, there's nobody that can go out and run the race for them.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a world champion and you just say, well, I'm just going to sit, then there's atrophy and you don't win another medal. And you don't get to come back from that, right? Because the world doesn't stop because you decided to sit on your couch. But when you finally decide to get off your couch, it's too late. Somebody new and younger, right, who's using the newer advantages of technology and training has run past you, broken all your records, and nobody remembers you anymore. Why? Because you just let your muscle atrophy, and that's your brain. That's what we do.
Wow. And when you think about atrophy, there's nothing you have to do for it to happen.
No,
it's
right.
just
do nothing. You just do nothing. Right.
You do nothing and it happens. Right. There's no skill involved. You just stop whatever you're doing, and it happens. But growth is the opposite, right? Growth is you have to continue to do something, work on something for you to evolve. And the tool that we now have access to, that we've never had access to in the history of the world, has the ability to do some of that for us. So how do we begin? Because we're going to use the tool for some things that we're going to make our life easier. And I'm not, and neither one of us suggesting that we don't. But what do we do to compensate for making sure that our minds?
Well, so I think you mentioned the 200 emails, and so this is funny because we both get emails, and they're all the same. They're all the same. They all start with these little characters that are on the page, and the way that the page layout and the way that the lines are and the text is all the same. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I think a guy named Russell Brunson is famous for this with this ClickFunnels stuff, and everybody who uses Russell Brunson stuff sends out emails, and that they're using Russell Brunson stuff because they all look the same. That's great. That's fine. But what it says to me is that means nobody else is using their brain. People are not realizing, you're an individual, your email shouldn't look like everybody else's. So maybe, just maybe, you should take a minute or two and read what this AI has created to make sure that it actually sounds like you and not somebody else. So yes, we can use the tool. But use the tool, but still run your own race. Dr. B can teach me how to run, and I can watch his style of running, but I still got to go out there and run the race in the way that my physical mechanics allow me to run the race. I think too many people are not doing that.
Yeah. Well, and as we're talking about email was never meant to be a communication tool. It was meant to be a information tool. Because it's designed to give you information, where like texting is a communication tool. It
Right.
was designed for you to send something out and get an answer. But yet people, like when I was doing some consulting at a Fortune 500 company, it was like, and I was doing it in the IT department, and there'd be two people just like, you can see us on the screen that close together, and they're IMing each other, they're instant messaging each other instead of just turning their head and saying, hey, do you want to go to lunch, or you want to go to a break, or we want to, and you just go, wait a minute. And the C-suite or the CEOs would be like, we're gonna, if there's something they needed, they would send it out in an email. So now I have these workers that are sitting there waiting in their computer dings. They're seeing if it's one of their leaders that's telling them. It distracts them from what they're doing. They have to read the email. They have to respond to the email. And now 10 to 15 minutes later, they get back to their job and wonder why they're not productive.
Absolutely.
And it's a cycle that happens throughout the day. Like I've told people, I'm only checking my email twice a day. If you want to communicate with me and it's important, pick up the phone. I will answer it.
Absolutely.
And I will talk to you. And if I'm busy, I will look at the thing coming in. And as soon as I'm not, I will call you back. But not other than my dad. Please tell me what it is you want so I can make a decision as to whether I got to call you back right now.
Your dad trumps everybody. Your dad's like, hey, listen, I brought you into this world, daggone it. I ain't got to leave no message. You call me back. Call me back.
Right. And he says, when time permits. Like,
that
means like now.
That's his way of saying, I know you busy. I know you're busy, son. I respect you. I know you're busy. So when you get a moment, please, if you could reach out to your old man. I don't got a lot of moments left, so don't let time permit it sooner than later. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So, it seems like everybody's switching over to texting now because everybody realized that you're not going to check your email. I'm checking it twice a day. If you want to communicate with me right now, an email is the worst way to do it because I don't have time and I'm going to do this and where I'm doing something else and I'm going to delete them all anyways, just like you are.
Yeah.
And now it's okay. You got my phone number. And somehow between the last 10 years, I've accumulated 5,000 people in my phone, and because hey, you gotta go to the conference, right? You got to do this and you got to stick it out. You got to get everybody's card. You got to put it in there. You got to do all the follow up and all those things. And then sometimes, the phone will ring and I'm looking at the name and I got him in my contacts. I have no idea who that person is. I'm better at doing notes now so I can remember and go back. But it just seems like we're so bombarded with that information. I need to take that time out to critically think. What are some of the things that you do just to, exercise your mind and just make sure that you are staying on top of building that muscle for you?
I think I mentioned to you before, I have a pretty stringent routine that I follow each day. So getting out of the bed every day, I start with my left foot because that's not my dominant foot. And I know that there's some science around how it helps your brain by using your non-dominant hands or feet. I brush my teeth. I go direct to the bathroom. I brush my teeth with my left hand. Of course, I'm right-handed, so that also helps in terms of igniting my brain. There's a certain amount of water and there's a type of mushroom that I take first thing in the morning. I immediately after that, I sit down and I write for 20 minutes and I write stream of consciousness. So immediately, those are all things that I do to activate my brain in a way where most people wake up and they immediately start looking at email and they look at text. They may wake up and start having an argument with a spouse or a child, I should say. But my day starts with me just communicating with the universe. And I start out with a journal and it's called Good Day Journal. And every day I start that way. I write about my life the way I would like it to be as opposed to how it is. I write in the journal about, in essence, how I want the world, if the world dares or cares to remember me when I'm no more. So that's That's what I do. I try to be present, and completely in today, which I tell some people sometimes. If you let me give you this analogy, I said so many of us do this. If you've ever been in a gated community, there are obviously security fences
Mhm.
that come up real high so you can't look over into the other person's yard. And I said, that's the way I think about yesterday and tomorrow. Yesterday and tomorrow have
Mm.
security fences. I have no reason to be looking over into yesterday or any reason to be looking over into tomorrow. The best thing I could do mentally, and you said, what do you do for your brain, for your mind? The best thing I could do is to be focused on right now. So those are some little things that I do. Exercise, all I kind of walk in silence, walk in listening to the great wisdom from the Socrates and Plato's and those kind of people of historical references. But that's what I do each day.
I love that. I was writing those down as this year. I have had my routine,
Mm-hmm.
and I had several people like me asking me, well, what is it you do every morning? And so this year I said, for the next 365 days, I'm going to go live every morning at 6:30, and I'm going to do my routine. You can watch me or you can participate with me. I'd rather you participate with me, but I'm going to do it in a way that shows this is the consistency of making sure I wake up every day with a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
with like what you're saying. I hadn't even thought about the left foot first. I'm just
Yeah.
getting up trying to get over,
Yeah.
and so but I start out with breathing, right? And I'm doing some type of breathing that that we're going to do. Then I'm trying to do 36 ounces of water right at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, so like
Yep.
there's two
Do
different
that.
glasses and
Yep.
some more breathing. And then I'm doing I'm doing a devotional. So I have like a 5-minute devotional that I'm kind of walking through. And then I'm doing a gratitude journal. So I'm
Okay.
literally speaking my gratitude journal out and having hey, I need you, if you're watching me do this, I need you to do it yourself, with the things that you're thankful for. Then jump into some affirmations. And then I'm doing a word of the day and kind of, what does this word mean? How is it going to affect my life?
Mm-hmm.
What promises am I going to make today that I'm going to keep? To work on that muscle with the promise that I want to keep, the connection that I'm going to make. Who am I going to connect with today? Whether it's a past person that I know that I need to connect with, if it's a new person that I don't know, then he kicked it, or it's just, hey, this is a family. Do I need to call my dad, my kids, whoever it is, and don't go to bed until I do it?
Yes, call you
And so
that.
far we're on day. I said I'm gonna do it for
Today's
365.
22nd. Yep.
Yeah, so
Today's
it's
22nd.
day 22,
Yeah.
and it is. I just feel I've been doing it for years, but it's different now that I've turned on the microphone, I guess, because now there's a little bit of responsibility, not to other people, because I don't care if
Sure.
anybody watches it or not.
Right.
It's even regimenting me more to make sure that it's even more thoughtful, because some of
Well,
those things. But
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you have sort of an accountability or
yeah,
accountability partners, if you will. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think I told you, I started writing in a journal differently because I call it journaling forward. So I write in a journal, as I mentioned, each day. And I started with 8 minutes, and then it grew to
Mhm.
14. And then I didn't settle on 20. I just understood the science about the brain, and 20 minutes was it. So I stopped at 20 minutes. But I just write whatever comes to mind. I
Oh, so
don't. I just so as an and I don't know if I shared it with you, but as an example, this morning I wrote about Queen's "I Want to Ride My Bike." Well, it's called "Bicycle Race." Do you remember that song? I want to ride my bicycle, right?
I want to
Right.
ride it well.
So, right. Often I wake up with a song or a movie
Mhm.
quote. So Jerry Maguire quitting his job, talking about, yeah, I think I'm gonna lose my mind, kind of a thing. That ends up in the journal. Me being a kid and having my red Schwinn bike is stolen. Like, I don't know where it's going. The letter
Mhm.
I appears, and I'm talking about the Sesame Street characters, and this journal is brought to you by the letter I. I have no idea essentially where it's going. But I've been doing that every day, more or less, since the first part of September in 2018. And
Wow.
And so now, speaking of AI tools, my Naeem introduced me to Notebook LM. I'm sure you're familiar with Notebook LM, but
Yeah.
I've taken the journals and I've put the journals into Notebook LM and ask it to do a deep dive. And each day now, like I've been doing this, and this is my newest toy. I get to hear these two people. I now call them Helen and Bob. I don't know what their names are, but they do a deep dive on the journal, and I find it really like interesting because Nine once told me when I first started writing that great writers sometimes are not thought about until long after they're gone, which can seem a little bit unsettling. But when I put it in this tool, I get to hear two voices tell me what they think it is that I'm talking about, and that's been pretty fascinating.
Has your writing, I mean, I bet the content has got better, but like your actual penmanship gotten better or worse? Because when I think of trying to put my writing in anybody's Notebook LM, it is going to come up with the gibberish that is.
Yeah, no, I don't write it per se anymore. I actually type it. So I open I open up a Word document and I type it. So I'm using 20 minutes. I'm usually able to type about 1,200 or so words, like a stream of consciousness. But sometimes it's a mess, and I have to go back and read it and make sure that it makes sense. And then I curate it in a device called Journey, which I've been keeping them all in. And then I take it out, take it in, stick it in Notebook LM, and then I go back and listen to it. And
so you talked about the walls that you put up from the past and the walls that you don't look at the future, and you're living in the present. But you put together these notebooks over the last however many years you've been doing them now. That
journals,
your journals. Are you going back and revisiting any of that, or are you just starting? Every day's a new day. We don't need to ever go back.
Every day's a new day. I don't like the crazy thing is, so now that I have this Notebook LM, I've taken I'll do some keyword search because I've written about 3,000 of them. So I'll go back and on October 17th, 2019, I may look at, here's a keynote. Here's a note that says keynote speeches. And I'm like, okay, well, what did I write that day? I have no idea. And I'll go back and I may read it, but now I stick it into the Notebook LM and I just listen to what they thought about what I wrote on that particular day. But no, I don't. Every day's a new day, and every day life is a canvas, and I'm grateful that I listen. So there's part of me that's like what you're doing now is new, and it's going to change between now and next year. And if you do it next year, it's going to change again, right? Your ability, the level of gratitude that you experience now is going to be very different than the gratitude that you express next year this time, should you continue. Because you're going to be open to receive in a way that you're not currently open to receive. You don't even know you're not open to receive. You won't know it until you look back and see how far you've come.
It's exciting to think about what that's going to be. Light bulb moments. There's got to be, so as you're doing this and free flowing, and your mind is working the way God intended it to in so many ways. There's got to be some light bulb moments that you want to take advantage of. How do you do that?
Some of my best thoughts come in those moments. And then, so for example, like just talking about the two security fences, that came out of a journal. I never thought about it before. Sometimes I'm having conversations with folks. I went back and listened to something, and I was talking about the ocean shore and the deep part of the ocean, and wrote that the most safe place to be is in the deep part of the ocean. And it seems completely counterintuitive. And then when I listen to it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because the water and waves erode the land. And if the water and waves are going to erode the land, then you should be where the water is deepest, because you have less friction and erosion to be concerned with.
But you didn't talk about the sea monsters.
But I didn't talk, but because there's sharks. But right, there's sea monsters and there's sharks. But there are monsters, real monsters, that's walking around on the land too. right?
Oh yeah,
So wherever we go, there's going to be danger.
there's
But
gonna
the
be
question
monsters.
is,
Yeah.
am I worried about the erosion of the land that I'm on that I can't do anything about, or am I better off? But so those kind of concepts that happen in a journal. I just wake up and I have a thought and I just start writing. Hey, today I woke up and I'm leaving on the midnight train to Georgia. I have no idea what that means. I hear that song and then I just sit down and I start writing, and whatever comes out, and I finish it and I move on. And I probably don't look at it again unless somebody who reads the journals reaches out to me and said, "Oh, that was really helpful to me today." I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
This is a question I love to just to explore a little bit with you, because do you get up at the exact same time every day, pretty much? I mean, within just
Yeah,
whenever you.
most days, but some days I'm like everybody else. Some days I'm lazy, and some days I'm inspired, and I cannot wait to get up out of bed and go do
Yeah,
something. So
yeah.
yeah.
So and the reason I'm going there with that, because I know you do all this routine, you do everything. About
Mhm.
what time, or how much time after you wake up before
Mhm.
you pick up a device with the screen? How much time is surpassed?
Wow. So if one right, it could be 90 minutes to 2 hours.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's just 9 minutes. That nine and Latanya both will say, "Don't you know what you got on your schedule to do today?" And I was like, "No, my bad. I haven't looked at my phone yet. I haven't looked at the computer. I'm writing on the computer, but I won't look at email.
Yeah,
I
no,
feel like
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
I was like
obviously,
I'm
you're
because
that's
what I'm afraid of, B, is that somebody else's thought will enter my mind and it will take over the thought that I received this morning. And I don't want to mess up the gift that I got that was poured into my human vessel with somebody else's stuff that gets poured into the vessel. So I'm like, nope, I won't do it.
yeah. I've been really, like, I think it was Saturday. I woke up because I was doing my event on Saturday, and so I woke up, and I woke up earlier just so I could get ready for the event. And I caught myself like getting ready. I actually picked it up. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not. There's nothing at 4:30 right now that I need to know that is going to affect my life. Let me get
Nope.
my butt in there and do the stuff. I went on my walk and that kind of stuff that I got done early, and I felt so much better. Now, like, I listen to a podcast or something like
Sure.
that sometimes on my walk,
Hmm.
but that's different than having to react.
To
That's
somebody.
being proactive about what I want to make sure goes into my mind and my brain,
Yep.
than
Yep.
being reactive to what somebody else is asking me to do with my brain.
Yep.
And it makes my days go so much better.
Yep.
And it's like the gift that I would love to just give everybody, the gift of not looking at stuff until you've done what you need to do.
I have a I
And
have a, I have a friend named James, and James and I meet every Wednesday, and
okay.
we meet Wednesday from 9:30. It sometimes it's 12:30, sometimes it's 1 o'clock, sometimes it's 2 o'clock. James and I just sit together. We turn our phones over. We don't usually bring a laptop. And James and I just give each other our complete undivided attention. And he and I
Mm,
were talking about this the other day about what undivided attention actually means. And so here's what I was, and like you just helped me right now have this thought that what we should be doing is giving our own self our own undivided attention.
mm,
Like, you don't give
yeah.
yourself your own undivided attention. And I
Mhm.
don't sometimes give myself my own undivided attention. And what does that mean? Like, we're so busy thinking that we can multitask. Well, there is no such thing for the human brain. The human brain cannot multitask. So what are we doing? We trying to do something where we're trying to pay attention to more than one thing. We're being completely unproductive. The very thing that you got all these tools to allegedly to help us to do, we're being the human is being completely unproductive. This is why we need so many tools, because our attention is so divided. So that's what the journal writing for me allows me to do. Just
Yourself.
give myself, which essentially, when I say good day journal, I'm really saying good day creator, good day universe, good day spirit, whatever name someone would want to call God. Well, I'm saying good day journal. Good day journal sometimes is good day Naeem, because hey, I'm
Mm,
not going to be here forever. Sometimes good day journal is good day, Latanya. I'm not going to be here forever. Good day, mom. Good day, sis. Like whoever reads it, right? The journal is written not just for me. I'm assuming
Mhm.
that whatever I'm getting is wisdom that I'm supposed to share.
What one of the things that I've decided this year is I don't want to do anything by myself as far as, I need to I'm so used to being this independent man that has to get everything done and has to do it all by myself. And if that person isn't coming at the speed I'm coming in, forget you, I'll just do it by myself. And I decided this year I needed to be more present around people. If I'm going to go somewhere, take somebody with me, and spend that time. And what you just told me, or what you reminded me of, is you have a person that you can do life with every single week. How did you all develop that, especially as Black men? And I start thinking, we'll go hang out at the barbershop, but we just gonna talk about sports or something superficial, right? We're not gonna get. But there's no way you're spending that much time with somebody every week
Yeah.
and not being
Yeah.
very
No,
candid about your lives.
yeah, no, I mean, I don't, he's not listening, but when we do show this, when you do finish the show, I'm going to send it to him. I'm able to do that because I love that brother. But the difference, in addition to that, right, because I do believe we're called to love everyone, I
Mhm.
like him. Like, I like him
Mm.
immensely.
Yeah.
So I don't know a whole lot of people like that. And when
Mhm.
you find people who I believe what's called the immutable law of reciprocity, when people are willing to essentially, you're a boomerang and you throw love and they throw love right back to you, like that's that's what that relationship is. It's continued to grow over time. But I met him initially because he happens to be a fraternity brother of mine, but I don't go to any fraternity meetings, and brothers usually chastise me because I'm a non-participatory omega. But 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 yeah, I'm like, man, I'm not coming. I'm not doing that. I got other things to do. But when I wrote my first book, he reached out to me and asked me if I had time to talk to him and about writing the book. And so we've just been sort of connected ever since. And he calls it Black man therapy. Like, so we sit down each week, and that's what it's become. We just talk about it, whatever, everything. If I'm what some I might be going through, some he might be going through, something going on in the world, just kind of a place where you can just bounce ideas off somebody without having any judgment, but not like you get free of critique, because we get plenty of critique, because the ideal is to
Mhm.
help each other be better. But as I'm talking to you, like, I feel like that's something you were starting to do. Um,
Mhm.
I have a friend, Willie, and you met Willie, and I tell him that all the time. I said there are too many people, and maybe I'm sidetracking, and you can stop me. You can
Oh no,
stop me
you're
at any
right
time.
on. You're right on. Yeah.
There are so many voices that the space is so crowded that I've decided in many ways I don't even want to even make an attempt anymore, because there's so much noise and people are not paying attention. And
Mhm.
I do think that there are a handful of people, you, people like James, my friend Willie, who have something to say that really matters and important, but we can't be heard. We don't have enough likes. We don't have enough blue checks. We don't have, somebody standing behind us, propping us up, talking about how great we are. I'm like, I don't know how to change that, but I feel like there has to be a place at some point where there is an opposite of an Andrew Tate. There's an opposite of a Scott Galloway. There's an opposite of a Jordan Peterson. There has to be somebody who talks about manhood different. There's an opposite of Joe Rogan. There's an opposite of those people who can say to another man, "Hey, yo, I love you, and I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care
Mhm.
who you marry. I don't care what your babies, color your quote babies are. I don't care about that. But you and I are going to leave this planet one day. How do we figure out how to leave this planet better? I don't care about how much money you have. I don't care about the
Mhm.
car you have. I don't care about how many followers you have. I don't care about the masterminds you belong to. Like, all of this superfluous stuff, I don't care about that. Can we meet people that care about that? Because it's been my experience, Brian, that the last many years, young people more than ever need voices like that than they need those other voices.
Man, you are so on it. And with the evolution of what AI is going to be, people are going to yearn for and cry out for and
Yeah,
need
yeah,
relationships. And
yeah,
that's the reason I'm building this community in the first place, is so that it'll be a place where people can connect, where, hey, you come sit down, you will do a Sunday night, you'll meet somebody, and then even if it's virtual for a while, and then you figure out how to get to, face to face. But it's, hey, how can I do exactly what you're saying is once a week, I need to create this relationship. And that's why I guess I'm so interested in how you did it or how you're doing it, because
yeah,
it is what I think all of us need in some level, that is so incredibly great, that just says, wait a minute, there's somebody I can walk through life with.
yeah, yeah.
Because right now we're so superficial.
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So again, most of what we do now is transactional.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
what I think I hear you saying is that you want to be transformational.
Yes.
Like they're different, and everybody, like, I don't know what your financial requirements are. I have no idea what your living expense. I have none of that. But my suspicion is that you're doing okay. And by
Mhm.
okay, I mean, when I think about Maslow's bottom of the hierarchy, Dr. B's doing okay.
Yeah,
What I
absolutely.
think is the challenge, if you know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I know you do, most of us, no matter what we have, no matter how much we make, we can never emotionally or intellectually the bottom of that pyramid. The goal of the pyramid is self-actualization. All of
Mm-hmm.
us want to live at the bottom. I got a car. Oh, this year they got a new model. I need the new model. Oh, I got a watch. Oh, I need a new watch. I got 19 of them. Hey, I got a house. It's great. It's got 3,000 square feet. Oh, but it's okay. I bought it 20 years ago. I needed a house with 5,000 square feet. Why? No, your kids are all gone. It's just, it's just you and maybe a spouse. So what you did is you got more space to be more apart. You got more
Mm,
space to be more apart. So yeah,
wow.
I think we there has to be some way to get people to understand that our goal is not to live fundamentally forever at the bottom of the pyramid. And I
Yeah.
don't care who they are, the wealthiest people in the world, you can name them all. They live at the bottom of the pyramid. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing about them that indicates self-actualization, because people who have actualized themselves don't need billions and billions of dollars and
Yeah.
watch people and lay people off from work so that those people cannot have what they legitimately need at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Like, somebody has to be a voice that says this is not working. We have to do something different. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's just so much abundance on this planet that there's no reason for a small percentage of our society to want to hoard all of that.
Right. Well, let me
And
say this. No, you
Mhm.
finished. Go. No, you finished. I didn't mean to
Oh no,
interrupt. Go
you
ahead.
go. No, say, because I was done. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, like, when I hear that, when I hear abundance, I agree that there's abundance, but abundance is finite. And when we
Mm,
say abundance, we give the illusion that there's an like an infinite sum. There's not an infinite sum. In economics, we say gross national product, which means there is a limit, right? There is a limit.
mhm,
When we say market cap, we say it's capped because that is how much market there is. The thing is, people have us convinced that resources are finite or infinite, I should say, but resources are not. They're finite. So they got you and I chasing for an imaginary infinite number of resources that don't exist. There's only so much money to be had. There's only so much money to be made. But they'll sell you and I their products. So we will chase what they
mhm.
already have in abundance that we can't ever get. We just can just keep turning our money over to them. Every once in a while we might see a profit. Like, I make fun of folks. I don't make fun of them. But I hear people all the time saying, hey, you got to join this group. You got to buy this tool. You got to have this or that. And I'm like, yeah, but the only people making money off of this is you. Because if we statistically ask the question, how many people who buy your product or service fail, you wouldn't have that conversation. You're happy to show me a testimony of somebody who won. I want to know how many people lost.
Yeah.
99% of people losing, I don't need your product. If less than 50% of the people are winning, I don't need your product. I can flip a coin and just do anything and get the same outcome. So that's what I hear when I hear people say abundance. Like the trick to get us to go do something that 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 out of 100 is not going to work out to our benefit.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, and when I think of abundance, I think of resources that are available. Like how much air is there to breathe? How much.
But even that's not abundant.
That's finite. It is
right. The UN says that's one of the 17 things that threaten the existence of the planet. That the air is terrible.
Yeah, and when it runs out, it runs out. Yeah, I
air,
guess
water, right? All the stuff that we really need.
Yeah, no, I just say I think of how technology has taken whatever resource gets so finite that it's going to not exist anymore, like well blubber, right? So, well blubber is the energy that we need to survive, and we run out of wells. So then we find dinosaur oil, and dinosaur oil runs out, and then we find solar or wind or whatever it is, because of the ability of our minds to be able to create and to innovate and to be able to move forward. But there is only so much, resources are finite in the fact that there's only so much gold that's in the world that you could even mine if you needed to.
Right.
And once that's gone, what do we do next? And I guess where I think of abundance is I think of, so what is that next thing that happens after we run out of whatever it is that we have? And eventually it's going to end, right? It's got to.
Yeah. I would say the two things I think of that are abundance. The first one is love. There is no limit.
There is no limit
on love.
I love that.
There shouldn't be. And the second one should be on thought. Like there should be no limit on your ability to think, to improve your thought capacity, so forth. But beyond that, I think about, so we started off talking about AI. Well, AI is the greatest user of water. So water is not abundant, and thus we're using water every day, you and I, on tools that have to be cooled, that are in some data center, and they're in some city or some community is suffering with less or restricted access to clean water, which in most of the water we have today has plastic in it. So there is no abundance of fresh, pure water without plastic anymore. We've ruined that. Those same data centers that we create that create pollution, pollute our air. There's no abundance of clean, fresh air anymore, right? So even the sun is dying. So like they're really, like, when I think of abundance is love, and abundance is thought. But beyond that, but if we can love each other and think differently, perhaps we could save ourselves from ourselves. Otherwise, I'm not sure how long this abundant planet, right? And gold, like, what is the value of gold other than what we've assigned to it?
What we decided is, we assigned the value of it.
We assigned it. Right?
It's a metal that,
right. But I don't know what we do. Like, what utility does gold actually have, other than to be on your wrist, around your neck?
Yeah. Well, I guess the utility of it conducts, and I don't know the science of gold compared to other elements, but
right. But we probably could figure out another element to do it before. But yeah, I don't know. I'll ask the engineer in my home what do we really need gold for? other than on your neck and around your wrist, and to flaunt and tell people how good you got it. I don't know, but I'll check in and find out.
It's funny because when you said that, I thought about, like when our planet is dying and we're on those ships, like in those shows where Galactica or whatever it was, all of us on Earth, floating to another solar system so that we can live on another planet.
Ain't that some stuff? So you done messed up your own home, and then you want to abandon it and go to somebody else's house. That's right.
Gotcha.
That sounds good, Earthlings. That's a good idea. In the meantime, just keep going up there in space and polluting it, so that when you land on your new home, the pollution that you left in space somehow follows you and lands where you are. Like if we're not better. That's what's that old quote? Wherever I go, there I am. Wherever we go, there we are. So unless you and I figure out like how to do the thing that's abundant, to think like more intuitively and be more enlightened, and to love folks in a different way, it won't even matter. That sound kind of fatalistic, perhaps, but I think there's hope in that. It's hoping that if we understand what that means to love somebody else.
Yeah, and how do we love people more? How do we just love more? If there's abundance of it, like you said, it's never ending.
Yeah,
and yet somehow we try to mess that up too, right?
yeah. No, I mean, so I'm gonna say this, and I know, like, if your wife is listening to this or any spouse, it is true. Before you got married, you loved somebody else, and you might have loved somebody afterwards, and you may have loved somebody in between, but you can love your wife and your children and your father and your mother because love is abundant. It doesn't say, Brian, I only got so much love to give. Nope. You can love a whole lot of people. So how do we love? I mean, I think you know this because I know that you are rooted in something that's bigger than you. And I'm not one of those people that I'm trying to convert anybody to any faith, because I tell everybody that knows me I'm a heathen, and because I don't subscribe to the definition or description or of Christian, because I don't know what it means anymore. But you and I got to have that conversation at another time or whenever. But I would say that I do believe that those two commandments are key. That you love something, if you call it God, the universe, the source, Allah, Jehovah, whatever, whomever. Like the goal is to love something bigger than you, with all that you are. And then the second part is to love your neighbor as you would yourself. The challenge I think many of us have is to figure out, to be honest with ourselves, what that actually means to love ourselves. I don't know that we understand what that means, and thus we can't figure out how to love anybody else. You can't love your neighbor if you can't figure out how first to love yourself. So I think that's an intellectual pursuit that AI cannot answer for you. Like you have to figure out like what that means. Like, for me, I'm thinking about the end of my life. That's where I start every day. When there are going to be 50 to 70 characters that are going to show up. If anybody cares to care about me when I'm going, that's questionable. I'm still working the kinks out on that. But at the end, someone will write on my urn or tombstone. Someone will write my obituary, and someone, if they care, will give a eulogy. But they won't come in there carrying how many gold bars I own, or how many cars I had, or how much I own in stock, or how many followers I had. They won't care about that. And so, if none of those things matter in the end, why do they matter
now? Yeah, why do they matter now if they don't matter? Can't take it with you.
Right.
And they're going to talk about how you loved. That's what they're going to talk about.
Absolutely. Every obituary you ever read ends with this: survived by so-and-so, right? Loved by so-and-so. That's the way it always ends. And so if it's going to end that way, why aren't we living in our present the way we want it to be when it's no more? I think it's because we don't understand love, and we take this time for granted. We think it's about something else until it's not.
Wow. Well, Nate, thank you so much for this. Has been a great conversation. I have so enjoyed. I don't remember where we started, but I know where we ended, and I think where we ended is right where we should have. And I can't wait to do this again. And as we get the community and get more people involved, and just finding ways for other people to love one another, because that is why we are here. And it doesn't matter what we do on a daily basis to earn the amount of money to be able to live the way we live. It's how we love. And so I thank you for sharing that with us and ending with us. And is there any one thing that you want to leave everybody with today that?
Nope, I'm going to say to you, like, you and I just had therapy. So I'm saying, on real talk, I really hope that um that I would say, I'm gonna put the challenge to you, because this matters, this space, just doing this thing matters to you. And I'm not knocking it. I'm saying that's great. I don't know how to do it. But I hope, Dr. B, that the thing selfishly that you do is that you elevate the voice of men who care for something other than things that rust and moths do destroy. Because if
Yes.
that's all you're going to do
Amen.
is encourage us to be more like everybody else, then what is the point?
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is a space, you have a space where something is different and different. There's a different voice. I talked to young people the other day. I promise I'll let you go. They
Oh,
were
I
from
knew that.
Nigeria. They were from Nigeria, and back to back. Yesterday was Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday. I was on podcast with two young people who didn't know each other from Nigeria. A female the first day and a male the second day, and they were in their early 20s. And both of them said to me, "We don't know where we're going. We don't know. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do with our lives. We don't know how to achieve in our lives. How do we get to success? What is success?" Completely confused. Do you know why we're like this? And I said, absolutely, I know why y'all like this. Because your trees and the ecosystem that created you failed you. We have failed you. How do we fail you? Because we are focused on all the wrong things. And thus, your gaze is the same gaze as ours. I've never met an apple tree that is mad because there's an apple on its limb. I've never met a peach tree that expected there to be a lemon. But too many of us raise children and don't give any regard to exactly who we are. So I said, like, we have failed you because we haven't thought about who we are and what we're doing. And of course, then you can't do it. You need to do it. And then we blame y'all because you all are not what we want you to be, but we gave you no direction or no model on how to be it. So that's why I said, I hope that there'll be some voice that, because there's a lot of young people who are hungry and they're very disappointed, is not like deceived. They feel deceived. They've done everything we asked them to do, and the planet is more of a mess now than ever. Unemployed, unable to buy homes, being treated like they're not citizens, deported to places. Like, we're doing all kind of craziness to young people. Yeah. And they're watching all of this, and we have no idea what it's going to mean for them in the future. All of the trauma that we're putting young people through with our behavior. So because you and I are pursuing, and we're sending 200 emails every day that all look the same, that all got a plan for how you can be rich and how you can sell your product or good online. I'm like, come on, there's got to be more to life than this.
Yeah. Connection has to be, to me, everything. Helping people become who they were meant to be, and doing that through relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
not through an email, through genuine, in front of, talking to, relationship.
Undivided attention.
Undivided
attention.
Being present. And so I'll be screaming that from the mountaintops as long as I'm alive, because I think,
good,
especially with all this stuff. So
I'll be listening at the bottom. When you're at the top of the mountain, I'll be listening at the bottom.
Yeah, no, you coming up there, you self-actualizing yourself. So we're gonna make that happen. All right, brother. Nate, thank you. Hit subscribe if you want to be here. Come on with us if you want to. We're doing this every Thursday night, different guests, different conversation. I don't know what the conversation is going to be, but we're going to have fun doing it, because it's going to be about relationship. It's going to be about helping people become who they were meant to be. You always have an amazing, awesome, just incredible night tonight. And then take your day. Hey, go back and listen to the things that Nate talked about that he does as a morning routine, and make up your own. Just make up something. Do something every morning that is, what do we say? Undivided attention to yourself. Attention. I'm going to use that so much now that you just brought it up. So put that in your journal tomorrow, but undivided attention to yourself. Tomorrow, we'll talk to you guys on the next one. Have an amazing day.